Scheduled in the Pro Wrestling Spectacular 1 week from tonight will be Mr. Fuji and Mr. Saito in a tag team matchup. Also in a tag team matchup will be the tag team champions, Tony Garea and Rick Martel. Meeting individual competition will be Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. Can you imagine what will happen when Tony Atlas locks up with the animal, George Steele? And from there, Pedro Morales just can't wait for 1 week from tonight. But once again in the return encounter, he locks up with the magnificent Muraco in the Intercontinental title defense. But speaking of champions, Bob Backlund, knowing full well he could be in for an uphill battle in Baltimore, defending the World Wrestling Federation Championship against now the #1 contender from Mongolia, it's Killer Khan. But right now our guest will be the man who could lose it all in Baltimore. What do you think the chances of losing that title to Morales are?
Slim and none. Pedro Morales just can't wait. Pedro Morales just can't wait. The only thing that bothers Pedro Morales is the long lines he has to stand in when he collects his food stamps and his welfare checks. Because I know he got two or three wives on the side. He must be slipping a couple extra checks. You know how they do it down there. Pedro Morales just can't wait. He thinks because he opened a little bit of skin on my head, the Magnificent One is turning tail, gonna run. He thinks the Magnificent One is a little bit upset. I'm gonna give him this time the worst beating the man has ever had in his life. He's been around with me a couple times, hasn't he? He's getting used to losing by now.
The arrogance of the Intercontinental Champion, the magnificent Muraco. In a moment, our guest will be the World Wrestling Federation Champion, Bob Backlund, who will oppose the Mongolian giant Killer Khan. And Fred Blassie has been waiting a long, long time for this one. You know what this opportunity means to Blassie and to Killer Khan.
Yeah, I know how bad Blassie wants it. He's talked about that a lot, and I know how he's going to have Khan keyed up to injure me like he did Andre the Giant and Rick McGraw. And I must admit, for a man to be able to put Rick McGraw out of the wrestling with a real bad neck injury and be able to put Andre the Giant in the hospital with a bad leg injury, he's got to be able to do that to me if he's got the opportunity. And if he does get the opportunity to do that, he's going to take advantage of it, I'm sure. So it's my job to stop that, Vince. And if he gets the opportunity, he's going to beat me. He's going to be the World Wrestling Federation champion, and I surely don't want that to happen in Baltimore. The fans have always been right behind me, supporting me like I can't express how I appreciate their support. So I'm not going to let down just because he did that to two other wrestlers. I know it can possibly happen to me, but I'm going to try to prevent that. I'm trying for victory against Killer Khan.
Bob Backlund, his comments as it relates to the upcoming event in Baltimore 1 week from tonight. Now coming into view, manager Freddie Blassie. You, Mr. Blassie, have stated so many, many times in the past the title eluding you when you were a wrestler, and I might add one of the all-time great wrestlers, eluding you thus far as well, managing man after man who's had an opportunity. What makes you think that 1 week from tonight Killer Khan will be your champion?
What makes me think so? I heard Bob Backlund make the interview. He's going to try to do. What did he think Andre the Giant was doing there? They're playing tiddlywinks. What did he think that Rick McGraw was doing? Playing tiddlywinks? The same thing you're going to be doing. Don't forget that, Backlund. You got the belt. And as I said before, Baltimore is a jinx to title holders. This is the town. This is the town that we're going to take it away from you. Backlund,
Backlund, easy with me. Easy with me. Easy with me.